What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Unpolished Podcast, where we just got done beating Samson's ass all up and down. He said he doesn't talk a lot of shit, so I've just been talking a lot of it. No, we just filmed Less Polished, where if you ever had a question of whether or not Samson can throw and hit a baseball, he can kind of sort of do it. Sort of. Do you want to add anything?
No,
You want to talk about your seventh grade teammates again?
I think a month from now, and I'm practicing every day, I think the outcome will be a little different.
You can get back into it.
I think I can get back into it. I just need some reps and like.
Could you make a high school starting varsity squad in 1 month?
100%. No questions asked.
I don't know, man.
I think I could.
That swing.
I'm saying the swing right now, but like with practice, I'm telling you, that was like
you're an athlete.
That was like 9. I want to say like.
What was that? What was up with that first throw?
The throw was bad. Mm-hmm. Throw. I'm like 8 years out of throwing. I've been throwing a football for the past 8 years.
Just sailed it.
I haven't played baseball. It's like you said, 7th grade. I don't know how old you are in 7th grade, but that's got to be like 12.
That's got to be 12.
Yeah, so
11, 12.
That's 13 years ago. Think about it. I haven't thrown
a whole
baseball
lot of excuses,
for 13 years.
Whole lot of excuses.
And it only took me 2 tries to hit that black little pad, so that was pretty good.
After you had already took a few throws.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, if you guys want to go check that out, we filmed that at the gym. Speaking of the gym, finally a member now. It's only been so it was Miles for Mason was when we originally talked about. So what year was that? So that had to be
like 20, almost 19 maybe, 2018.
That's when we had talked about possibly training together.
Yeah.
And now it's full circle. Here we are. We're going for a shot with one last shot at the NFL.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking for a lot. It's like we didn't train back then, but now it's time.
It's going well.
Yeah, it has been going well.
But let's rewind though. So the Samson story. You're one of 3 brothers?
Yep.
And you grew up here in Crystal Lake, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. I always mess it up. I think it was your brother. So my dad was coaching Junior Wolf because you were Junior Wolf.
Yep.
Yeah. So my dad made Junior Wolves. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
One day he came home and he was like, "This team's gonna win state." And sure enough, I think it was your brother because your brother won state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was your brother's team when he was in 8th grade. My dad came home and he's like, "This team is gonna win state." And sure enough, that was like the beginning.
Yeah, it was.
Of all the championships at Prairie Ridge, which was just a straight dominating. You guys had a crazy era of just dominance.
No, we did, yeah. And it kind of honestly started like growing up. Like you're talking about Junior Wolves. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
We never lost in Junior Wolves.
I know.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Every single year, we were just like destroy teams, and we really had almost the exact same team going in high school. And everyone just wanted to keep playing, and that's kind of I feel like how we did so well.
Well, that's a key with like all these teams that just. I mean, look at the Cary Junior Trojans. Mm-hmm. They're always a force. Why? Because they've had the feeder program forever, and the feeder program is doing exactly what the high school is doing. Those kids have been running triple option. Like you ran the triple option. You were the quarterback.
Yep.
In Junior Wolves too.
Mm-hmm.
So you ran the triple option for how many years?
Too many years. Too many years. The body started feeling it after a few. But like you're saying, yeah, Cary, that's like one team that we were always like, not like scared to play, but like we knew they were going to bring a tough game. So,
what was your record against Cary? Your record?
I want to say it was 3-1.
Oh man, they hate you.
I want to say it was 3-1.
Let's talk about that play. The play where it was like it was to the state championship, right?
Yeah. Well, it was the game before to go to the semis, I think.
Oh, it was to go to the semis.
Yeah, it was like round 2.
And the game, everyone thought it was over, right? Because there was like what? How many seconds left?
It was 19.
19 seconds left. You guys are how many yards out?
60.
60 yards out?
60 yards out.
I thought it was much shorter. I remember seeing the video.
I'm pretty sure it was 60 because you can see the video and it'll show at the top like the yard line we were on. I'm pretty sure we were at the 40. The other team's 40.
That's crazy.
Or our 40. Yeah.
So 19 seconds left. Cary knows you're going to get the ball.
Yeah.
You were the playmaker. To walk me through like your head and how the play went down.
Well, kind of like the play went down, like we couldn't throw the ball. Like it was so muddy out. They were just sending everyone deep. So like we got to the sidelines. We knew we couldn't throw the ball. Coach Schremp looks at me and he's like, well, this is the play that got us here. It's going to be the play that either gets us past here or ends our season. So he called it.
What's the play?
I think it's called like 29. Just 29. I think Kerry runs it now because they saw how successful we were. And I was watching a few games this year, and I'm almost positive they
that's
put
my
that.
play.
Yeah, I'm like, they put that in the playbook because they saw it work on that. So we ran that, and like the crazy thing is we had kids on the field crying before the play even started. Like they thought we lost. I mean,
On the field?
on the field we had kids crying.
I don't like
And
that.
no one likes that. Trust me, like everyone sees like we won, like it was all fun. Coach Terhart, he made sure that next day, he's like our offensive coordinator. He yelled at all those kids. Like you could see on the film who was like jogging in that last play because they thought we were gonna lose. So he made sure that they all got.
So with half a team, you scored.
Well, I wouldn't say like
basically.
half a team, but like there was some kids that like they could have done more, and they know that after like coach was yelling at them for a while. But I mean, after that game, we just kind of took off, and the play. I mean, Jeff, he always leads block. He always does a great job. People always gonna say
Jenkins.
Yeah, Jeff Jenkins. Kerry fans, if you're seeing this, you probably think it's a hold. Jeff might agree with you. He might not, but it's over now, so it's not a hold. We scored, but what was crazy about that play is so my little brother Carter, he played up varsity as a freshman the whole year. He went in for one play the entire game.
That was play.
It was the last play.
No way.
So you like watch the play. He comes across the field. And
Does he make a block for you?
He makes the ceiling block, and I bounce it. I'm like,
I never knew that.
he's like the only guy pure white jersey because it was like muddy out, raining. Like it was crazy. I'm like, you really think about it, like everything had to happen right on that play.
That's actually crazy.
But yeah, it's like one of those things that like no matter what happens, like for my career, it's gonna be hard to top that just because the emotions that everyone was feeling, me, my teammates.
Your little brother too. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. It was
Like your
sweet.
little brother sealed a.
I know. It was crazy.
That's so cool.
It was crazy. And like what also is cool about that is like if you watch the sidelines, you might not be able to see in like the videos, but if you were at the game, the Kerry fans, they were ready to rush. Rightfully
like standing
so.
on
Like,
the edge?
yeah, they were like rightfully so. Like that you beat us, like we were #1 ranked team in 6A. It's like, yeah, you could rush the field if you beat us.
And then you watch all of them just deflate after.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good feeling. It wasn't a good feeling in that last play before the play happened, but once it all unfolded.
Were you nervous at all, or were you like, no, I got this. Like I'm gonna score right now. Or was it like kind of the play started like, wait a second, I might score?
It was like a mixture of both. Like I wouldn't say like I was nervous, but I was also in my head, I'm like, this can't be how it ends. I'm like, there's no way we're losing this game. Like it just didn't feel real, honestly. Because like if we lost, it almost just didn't feel right. Because like we were expected to win, we should have won. We shouldn't even been in the situation where
Going.
needed the
Yeah,
last
I was gonna say it was closer than you thought it was gonna be.
And like what happened was the drive before, I made a really bad decision. I pitched the ball when I shouldn't have, and they got the ball and they scored with
What, fumble?
yeah, basically a fumble. Like I pitched it and fumbled, and they got it back. So I was in my head, I was like, we can't lose.
This can't
because of
be.
me.
Yeah,
No, like,
this
can't be how. Like,
I got to make up for
yeah,
this.
this can't be how my career ends in high school. It's just a fluke play. So I mean, as a team, we got it together for that last play, and
Sort
the rest
of.
is history,
You had some guys
sort
crying.
of. Some guys were crying. Some guys were not giving it all, but they gave it their all the next few games because we dominated. That's for sure.
Yeah, you won state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So what was happening during the game? Why was it so close? You guys couldn't throw?
It was just so muddy, and as you know, like 2 triple option teams, it's a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly, like every time we play Kerry, we're always trying to like change up something where we can get out, like get ahead of them.
Well, it's a really interesting dynamic because you're both playing against the offense that you have perfected. You've both perfected this offense, on some degree.
Exactly. And like they know when something's coming, like you can like just tell by like a lineman or something. They know. And we know when they're doing stuff like that. So it's always tough just to get any sort of yardage. And we try to change stuff around, but after about like a quarter or two, they figure it out, and then we're like, damn, this is tough.
Yeah, it's very cool. I had no idea your brother made one
literally,
play too.
Like I'm not kidding you, like completely white jersey. And like I talk to him about it sometimes. Like we live with each other.
Is it on YouTube? The clip?
Yeah, it is.
Can you pull it up, Alex?
Yeah, pull it
I want to
up.
watch it.
Yeah. What should I look up?
The play Prairie Ridge.
It's just the play.
Yeah, I think
That's so cool.
So one of our teammates, Justin Mikołajczewski, his dad was our
Chris
video
Miko.
guy. Yeah, so he's still the video guy.
Yeah, I trained not Justin. God, I always called him Miko.
James?
James.
Yeah.
I always called him Miko, so I got his dang first name.
Yeah, that's how everyone.
Shout out James, miss you, buddy.
You might, do probably YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like the coolest thing is the videos that he's made.
Are we allowed to show stuff on YouTube? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like you can go back to like whenever.
The play.
So like I would show this to like my teammates in like college.
Not the lay.
I can't type, sorry.
The play.
We'll be good.
This is probably like my proudest
All right, let's
moment in
watch this.
football.
The lay.
Because like no one, I mean, it kind of shows you though with like even like life or just like any sports, like it's not over till.
There it is,
over.
dude. There it is.
So, yeah,
All right, let's watch this. 40 seconds.
So you watch in the left corner. He'll be like,
over
this
here.
corner. He'll be over here.
How many times do you watch this video?
I probably watched it a lot because I showed a lot of people this play. But yeah, Carter right here.
Ooh.
Block.
Ooh. Ooh.
And the funny thing is too, is this kid right here, 20, he was like irritating me all game because he just kept cutting me. Like every time I would run the ball, he would just chop me down in the knees.
I was going to say, so when I watched this, I was like, what the hell was that at the end?
It's just like, I think that's just how he was tackling all game.
Go do it one more time,
Just because
Alex.
he was like a smaller kid, I think, at the time. I think he was like a
I was
sophomore.
watching you, so I actually missed Carter too. So where's Carter?
Carter's in this corner. He'll make a crack block on the outside linebacker. But like, he's like all white.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
34.
he sealed it. Oh, that does kind of look like a
34.
hold, though.
Oh, yeah.
And watch this dive. Just put his head down, dived at your feet. God, that's crazy, dude. I wish there was a shot like on the other side. Oh, you can kind of see people are lined up.
Yeah, even like when I watch it, I still get chills. Just like being in that moment was pretty crazy. Especially like all my buddies and everything.
Where are you at? Oh, there you are. What are you thinking right now?
I'm like,
Holy
how did I
shit.
just do that? I'm like, what just happened right there? Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's so cool that it was like literally, oh, not the last play, but on your last season.
Pretty much.
It could have been your last play.
It could have been. It was literally, as you saw, like a foot away. That kid just touches me out and I'm out.
Well, honestly, if he went up like this to tackle you, you could have tripped
Yeah,
because he had an arm out, but he did like a.
I know. And that's like, he was doing that all game. Like I knew, and I was getting so mad because I'm like, he keeps cutting me down, coach. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like it's so muddy out, I couldn't jump over him.
Yeah.
Until like that happened, I kind of had an idea he was gonna.
Yeah.
Go
You
low.
kind of did like a little high step.
Yeah.
Little Walter Payton move.
Yeah.
Favorite player? Walter
Crazy
Payton?
thing is too is like before that game, I had like a really bad sprained ankle, and I was like telling my coach, I'm like,
Oh, I'm so surprised that Samson
I'm like,
has
I don't
sprained
know if I
ankle.
can run far if I have to.
Did you have a lot of injuries in high school?
Yeah, I would say I mean, injuries. It's a loose word. I mean, I played through all of them, so they never like held me out.
So nothing too serious.
No.
But you were always kind of beat up.
Yeah. So my junior year, the coaches were doing like a trick play, and me as a punter, and I pulled my quad during a trick
You as
play.
a punter?
Yeah, I was our punter our senior year. I was a punter until I sprained my ankle week like 3, so I had to give it up.
I was a
'cause
punter too.
Couldn't do it anymore. Were you good?
Yeah, I was pretty good. I was all area.
I think I punted one time. It was against Carrier.
I was
first game of the
really
season.
good at aiming it. So like if this is the football field, I would aim it like right on the corner and just hope it kind of hops out within 10. I was really good at that.
I had no control over my kicks. And honestly,
You would just boot it.
The first game of the season, my senior year, we played Carey, and we had this like play in the playbook. It wasn't really like ever called. It was a trick punt, and they're like, Samson, if you see this, just go ahead and run. So literally, I'm not kidding you. The second time I'm at punter, we're playing Carey, and I'm like, the edge, there's no one over there. I'm taking this. So I like check. I don't know what I said. I don't know what it was called. But we run the fake punt.
So you checked, like you said something.
I checked it. I said something. So we were faking the punt. Someone didn't hear it. It did not work. I got stopped, and my coaches were very mad because they didn't call it, and I was just like, I'm going for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's open. But yeah, and we almost lost that game. It was 7-6.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was
That could've been bad.
always a tough game against Carey. That's for sure.
Yeah, they, like we're saying, man, they've been a powerhouse forever, and that triple option.
Yeah.
It's when you run that correctly, it's tough to stop.
Is.
When you got the right guys,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough not to have the right guys when you're training it. It's all 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
No, I know. And, like, even in college, I have all these teammates. So they're always like, "You ran triple option? Oh, we would crush you." I'm like,
Yeah, sure. Whatever
that
you
exact
say,
reason, you guys wouldn't. Like, you guys would have no idea how to stop it. It's just, you can't replicate it in practice for a week. So I think that's what always helped us in Cary is we just run it so fast and for so long that no one can really replicate it.
So long, just years and years. So you finished this season, Gatorade Player of the Year, right?
Yep.
So this is what year?
This was 2018.
2018, Gatorade Player of the Year. How did you fall on Iowa?
It was a tough choice because I really didn't know what position I wanted to play.
So how many offers did you get?
I had probably about 14 offers, ranging from like MAC schools to like Big Ten. And honestly, it was up to a lot of teams saw me as something different, running back.
Kind of like a hybrid guy.
It is. So it's like I'm getting a weird build where like
Definitely not quarterback.
people like all the MAC schools wanted me at quarterback.
Yeah.
But like deep down, I knew I'm like I got a decent arm, but like I don't.
I think everyone around here knew that too.
Yeah, like I have a good arm, but like I'm not like I don't throw a lot. So
I remember watching you play, and I was thinking like, this was like before Christian McCaffrey, but I was like, he's kind of like Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
That like you're like a running back, but also get out in the slot and get a couple like short passes here and there.
Yes.
I never really saw you as like a wideout or anything.
Yeah,
Because some people told me like, oh, I think Samson's gonna be a wideout. I was like, have you seen Division I wideouts? They're
No.
like 6'4".
the Division One, like from what I've seen, like those guys can run for days.
Yeah.
Like the people that I've seen at Iowa, Eastern Michigan, like they're built different.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to run all those routes, come back, keep running them, like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They put 5 miles of practice, and I'm like, I don't know if my body's even built to handle that many yards.
Well, dude, this is when you were starting to figure out that you were slowly breaking down too.
yeah,
Your body was getting beat up.
exactly, and like trying to figure out position, like going back on that, like people wanted me at safety, running back, linebacker, quarterback, and like I'm like, I don't know what I want to play. I'm like, I'd probably be a better safety than I would running back, but I'm like, I played running back my whole life. I played safety my whole life too, but never.
So you
in
almost
high
went
school.
defense?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wait, what do you mean you played safety your whole life?
Growing up, all through 8th grade, I was that was like my first position I ever played. Like I didn't even.
Did you ever play both ways in high school?
Yeah. Junior year, I played linebacker in the playoffs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just a stud, dude. Just
You know,
all over the field.
That's another regret. I wish I would have played more defense, but like we said, like injuries, like
Well, you just started falling
tough as hell,
apart,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
So you're at Iowa. You decide to go to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Who was like your top 3? Iowa.
Iowa, NIU, and I want to say, honestly, I don't know. That was just really a top 2.
Okay, so those two stuck out.
Kind of
to
like
you.
Minnesota, but I just
Why NIU? It just felt right when you were visiting and stuff.
So Shane, my older brother, he played at NIU. So I grew up watching Jordan Lynch. He's like one of like the greatest NIU quarterbacks of all time. And honestly, I just wanted to be like him. I'm like, he was a freaking beast. I'm like, I want to go there, be like him.
He's a coach now, right?
Yeah.
He's at Carmel.
Yeah, he's at Carmel, head coach, and he was the running back coach at NIU, and I was getting like recruited. So like that was another reason I was like, he'll be there, he can help me out. But ultimately, I was like, I just didn't feel like I was a quarterback.
Oh, so they wanted you a quarterback.
Yeah, they wanted me a quarterback.
And that, dude, when you visit, because I had to visit Iowa too, that stadium, that weight room, that it's like, whoa.
It's crazy. A lot of those like big schools.
It
like,
blows, and honestly blows NIU out of the water.
yeah,
So that's
I mean,
why
it's
I'm
not
like,
even close.
how did you
It's
like
tough.
top 2?
Yeah, it was tough.
It sounds like Jordan Lynch was like the big pull for you.
Yeah,
at NIU.
just like being the quarterback and always having control is like something I just always wanted to do. So that's what made it tough. If you just went like facilities and all like
Iowa.
how many fans are there? Yeah, I mean
Iowa.
They got some like the most
That
wild
stadium
fans.
there.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's so loud playing in there. Like I have like a bad ear, and like when I was in the stadium, like it would like ring because everyone would cheer so loud. I'm like, this I could like plug my ears.
Dude, I remember the first time running out, and it was like, or it wasn't the first time running out because we already had a couple games, but I remember homecoming at Baylor. We ran out, and it was like a packed house, and I was just like, whoa, this is freaking crazy. It was even crazier at Mizzou because Mizzou was, when I got there, we were like ranked top 10. I know that. I can't remember the exact number. Craziest game ever was when we beat Oklahoma. We beat Oklahoma, and it was like, holy crap. Everyone on the field, shoulder to shoulder. Like, people are getting trampled. Insane.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
It was scary.
It's, like, different. Like, when you, like, experience those, like, you just, like, chase that high because of how, like, awesome it was and how all those fans just, like, kind of not, like, praising you, but just, like, cheering you on. It's crazy.
No, it was definitely praising.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, yeah.
It was obnoxious.
No,
It was, like, it was obnoxious, like, knowing what the athletes would get, and it's totally obnoxious. Like, we can call it what it is. Like, I know dudes that never wrote a single paper, but they had homework.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, who's doing your stuff? And they were so dumb. They'd be like, yeah, my tutor wrote it. I'd be like, your tutor wrote this. He's like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing no homework. And then you learn, sure as hell, the tutor wrote all the papers, and people would miss class, and they'd be like feeling stuff. They would find ways to, you know, I don't need to say any names or anything, but like, it's definitely out there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I mean, I know like the big school at Iowa, I'd never seen it. Honestly though, I'm like one that's scared to even like let anyone write my papers because like I don't want it to get caught. Like I don't like doing that. So yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and I remember there was like a select few like people that the team knew about that you can like hit up to, like students. So like if you gave a student like $100, they would write up like a paper for like a football player. I remember that. Like
I would have been that student.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
can you imagine ChatGPT now too?
Oh my God.
It's like cheating. It's totally cheating.
I don't even want to say that on here. I don't want to get those kids like, once that goes away, a lot of these kids might be screwed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, ChatGPT is. School's just so different now.
Allegedly, they can catch it.
Yeah, I don't believe that, dude. All you gotta do is edit it enough.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure it's just you take the paper, you throw it through another AI system, and it just catches like an algorithm. Like, oh well, as an AI system, I would write it like this. This is very similar, and then I mean, a word is a word.
Yeah.
It's not like when you put the word publish on a Word document, it's gonna pop up as a red flag. It has to be written a certain way. And if you just go through and change it up a little bit, change it up enough, and then just take it to the grave.
Yeah, literally just don't tell them.
I did not use AI.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. I did not use AI. I'm smart like AI.
Yeah.
Like, they can't prove anything.
No, they can't. Hopefully they don't figure out a way to prove it because a lot of people will be upset about that.
Yeah, honestly, you got to be stupid to get caught, I feel like. Just cannot be that hard to get away with.
I will say this, now that we're on this subject, how you're saying, like, someone pay someone to write their paper. I did know 2 people, I was told this story, that did something like that, and the person wrote the exact same paper for both people, and they turned it in.
Stupid.
And then they got
But he
caught.
got paid. But he got paid?
Yeah, he got paid. But I'm thinking back, that's a scenario that would, like, scare me. So I don't know how I would handle that.
Yeah, I never had a problem with anything in school. What was your best subject? Were you straight A's? I feel like
going back on that in high school, I guess top 3. My third was Northwestern, but I didn't have high enough grades.
Oh, so you weren't a straight A guy? For some reason, I thought you were.
I mean, in college, I started picking it up, but like when I was in high school, I was always just like football.
Didn't care.
I didn't, honestly. I mean, I cared, but like
cared enough.
Yeah, like we had practice like 7, and I was like, I don't want to stay up to like 10 doing homework. I'll just play some video games or something. Do it first period. So that's kind of how I was. It caught up. My first year in high school was brutal. I failed.
Like as a freshman?
Yeah.
You failed something?
I failed.
Samson.
I failed honors geometry.
Oh, it was honors. And some people, like, are you just one of those guys that's not good at math?
I'm pretty good at math, but like for some reason, I want to say like I was concussed. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure I was
for
concussed.
An entire year. I'm
like,
concussed. That's why I failed,
figure
Steve.
Out anything. And like,
shut up.
My coach was like, my coach was the teacher. I went in there. I'm like, hey, like I'm not doing well. Can I drop this? He's like, no, Samson, you're good. You're gonna pass. Fails me. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you couldn't have just like told me I wasn't gonna like. You didn't have to like juice it up. Like, just tell me I'm not good at math. Like, I don't care. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So then my junior year, I had to retake the class, and I'm a junior with a bunch of freshmen, which was fun. I made some good friends, but I was just like, I made some really good friends in there, but I was just like, my freshman year, I'm like, I knew I was like, I'm struggling. Like, just let me drop this.
You concussed for a whole year. You're gonna ride with that story.
Yeah, I think I just got hit really hard.
And then you just kept getting
either
hit.
by John Tiemann at the time or
and the concussion
Parker
never.
Tomlin.
John Tiemann?
Yeah, one of those two hit me really hard early on in practice, and I think I was just concussed the rest of the year.
Wasn't John like a headhunter type guy?
He hit hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, really hard. He was a good player.
He's a tank now.
Yeah.
Every time he's home, he'll stop in.
Does
he's
he?
freaking huge now.
I haven't seen him in a while, but he was good back in high school. That I do know.
Crazy athlete.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's like such a nonchalant. Like he'll just walk around.
You won't say
and he's super quiet.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. And one of the funniest things I ever learned about John was that he was the craziest shit talker.
Really?
Yes. All like Nick Greenberg, Dean Brown, they all said like John would just lay a hit and then just talk the craziest shit.
That's fair. Honestly, I had no idea.
Which is so funny because he's so quiet and like nonchalant.
Yeah, they definitely rocked me a few times. That's for sure.
Well, you're a freshman.
Yeah.
It's necessary. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so you're at Iowa. What happens at Iowa?
Had a few injuries.
What were they?
Keep it short. I had like tore my hamstring. And like it started healing up, and it was just every time I would try to go like run again, just pop. Run. I wait 3 weeks, run, pop. Got to a point where just like trainers didn't know what was wrong. Strength coaches didn't really know what was wrong. Didn't really feel like I was being treated right. I mean, they cared. I could tell they cared that I was like injured, but
certain people cared.
Yeah, certain people cared, but then certain people were like, "Dude, like you're a freshman, like just get out there, like just play, like you're not." I know.
Well, there is that aspect to it for sure. I remember I had a stress fracture on my ankle, so being the new guy at Mizzou, you just got the shittiest shit. And I was also 260, so naturally when I'm getting my cleats, they're like, "Oh, let's give them like big boy cleats," but at Mizzou, they run the spread. So, like, all I was doing was running. Yeah. So I'm 260 pounds trying to run a spread, and they gave me, like, clunky lineman cleats. Well, I learned later, after I got this fracture, that in these cleats, that there was actually a metal brace on the sides. And I'm like, well, that's been digging into my ankle with all my cuts. And I remember thinking, like, dude, there's something wrong. Because, like, I ran a route. Do you remember Alden Smith?
Yeah.
I ran a route, and Alden Smith was like, are you good? I was like, I don't know. like my ankle hurt so bad, and I finally like told the trainer, like, no, there's something wrong. And they did a X-ray, and they're like, hey, you have a fractured ankle. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ! And I almost lost it, like on the trainers. I'm like, why'd you give me those cleats, dude?
No, yeah.
And Bud Sasser actually came through and gave me some nice cleats, but yeah, I remember just thinking, I don't want to be a bitch. Like that was constantly in the back of your head. I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to be a bitch. And sometimes you got to just man up in a sense and say, there's something freaking wrong, and I need to get better, or I'm never going to be good.
I think that's like probably like the biggest takeaway is that like us football players, like we always taught to like fight through the pain. The hardest part is like to say that like I can't fight through this pain.
Yeah,
I've done that like so many times where I was like, gotta fight through this, gotta fight through that, and then it just leads to
and there
more
are things
injuries.
You can fight through.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like little tweaks, here and there, but certain things, and obviously, we'll get more into your story, but obviously you learned the hard way.
Yeah,
I should have just taken a freaking semester off and done nothing.
No, 100%.
So you go through Iowa, and this all kind of leaves kind of a bitter taste in your mouth, like you feel like you were treated unfairly.
100%. So I felt like I was treated a little unfairly. I came back for my second year. Just went as hard as I could on scout team, got a scout team player of the year, which was cool. And then COVID hit, and I was kind of like, all I have is like scout film. Can't really prove to the coaches like that I can play if the fall season even happens. So then I ended up just leaving, and it was like a weird time. It's not like how it is now with like the transfer portal. Like it was like if you're going.
Yeah, this was before the transfer portal just went mayhem.
So it was like FBS to FBS. You had to sit out a year. So I was like, wow. It's like no one really would reach out, like at all. It was all like FCS schools, which was fine. I mean, I didn't really care where I went. I kind of just wanted to go somewhere where I was appreciated, and had one school like really reach out to me. And it honestly started from I was at home, just living at home after once COVID hit, and I'm like in our little den. I hear Carter and my dad and my mom on like a FaceTime. I'm like, who are they calling? They get off it. My dad's like, you ever heard about the Eastern Michigan? He's like, that coach over there, he's the coolest dude I have ever met. And then from there, I kind of just like reached out. Their recruiter reached out to me, and it kind of just like dumb luck. It was kind of crazy how like I just fell into Eastern Michigan because Carter was just happened to be on a Zoom call because he liked the coaches.
That's interesting because I've always wondered how you fell on Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, and like I would have calls with like the running back coach Sam Sewell. He was awesome.
So did you and your brother go to Eastern Michigan together then?
No, so I was there. I want to say a year before he even came. Like my like decision had nothing to even do with like him because he was like honestly set on going to like NIU because it's just close to home. That was like one of the schools he wanted to go to. It was his first offer. Mm-hmm. But
so was that kind of like your only option?
Yeah, pretty much. It was. I mean, I wouldn't say it was my only option because I wanted to be there, but FBS wise, no one would even reach out because they're like, I would get calls and they'd be like, "Well, you have to sit out a year. We don't want you." It's like no one even like took the chance because they thought I had to sit out. But then I ended up going to Eastern. We had a waiver in the past. We fought really hard to get the waiver done, so then I was able to play, which was pretty exciting.
So what's it like when you get there? How does it compare to Iowa?
Well, the funny thing is so I got there in the summer, and literally, I kid you not, first workout happened, hardest workout I've ever done in my life. I'm sitting there in my car afterwards. I'm like, I don't even think I want to keep playing football. I'm not even kidding. Like, it was so hard. Like we had to
because you were out of shape, or because it was like a hard workout.
Both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Also, because it was like a hard workout. We were outside because you couldn't be inside. It was like 100 degrees out. They had a conditioning test.
Oh, so this was the first conditioning test day.
First day, first conditioning test. So I'm like, what the heck?
What was your conditioning test? Ours was you had to do 16 110s.
So ours was like,
and you had to make it you had to make a certain time every time.
15 or 30 yard shuttles. So it'd be like 100 yards of just 15-yard shuttles back and forth. So it was so much turning. And like I had no idea how to pace myself. And they would yell at a time, 100 yards, and I'd go. And I'd go super fast the first couple.
Yeah.
And like
and
it got to a point where like it was 4 rounds. I got through like 1.5, collapsed. Didn't even get through the first two, like the last 2 rounds. I just collapsed.
Just dying.
And I was like, wow. I sat out the rest of that run. I was like, I don't even know if I want to keep playing football. Yeah, it was wild. It was a humbling experience, that's for sure.
Well, you need that every now and then. Mm-hmm. You need a good wake-up call.
Yeah.
I remember my strategy for my 110s was always take off hard first 10 and then just let my body weight take me through. Just coast. Yeah. I never had any issues making the time. But I remember all the people that did.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Those are no joke.
Did you ever have to do 300s?
Is that just like around the field?
Around the football field.
Yeah, so funny thing, Carter was just telling me, like, they're doing 300s today. Brutal. That last, like, 100.
Because that's like 50 seconds.
Yeah, like, your muscles, like, it's like almost a 400-meter sprint. Like, those are brutal. Mm-hmm.
And then the way, I think, if I remember right, we would run, and then you'd get to, like, keep walking, and then you would start your next 300, like, at the next cone. So you would get, like, this little walk of a break. But I remember just thinking, like, dude, this sucks.
No, those are brutal. Especially, like, we had a 6 a.m., and people kept missing their times, and we just kept adding reps. I think, at the last rep, no one made the time. Like, we were just, like, barely
So as a team, you had to redo it?
Yeah. So, like, if, like, the bigs or, like, the skills miss a time, we all had to redo it.
Yeah, see, those guys would get singled out.
Yeah.
So if they didn't make it, it was like, all right, you got to be here again 6 a.m. tomorrow. And I remember a dude crying.
I believe it.
I remember dude crying. I'm so sick of it. I can't do it.
He's like, how am I going to get it tomorrow if I can't do it today? I'm like,
yeah. Did you have so at Baylor, we had this thing called a gogi. Do you know what a gogi is? Mm-mm. So a gogi is you've seen 300, the movie 300.
Yeah.
So when King Leonidas gets thrown out and he's got to go like kill a wolf and come back, that's called a gogi. That's like a Spartan. It's a term for like Spartan kids.
Gotcha.
It's like you go from child to man. So they called this a gogi. This is the wildest time of my life, dude. So basically it was, and this was like before things were getting really soft. And dude, I swear to God, they would put on like Halloween masks, like these strength coaches. They would put on like Halloween masks. We'd have to do this agogi lift every Friday. It was for redshirt freshmen, and just like guys that are just really deep on the depth chart. You'd have to do it. And these dudes, these strength coaches, they were just psychopaths, dude. Kaz Kazadi, He was my strength coach, and we just had to do workouts that would literally make you cry. Like their goal was to make you cry. It was just mental toughness. And I remember one of the hardest ones we ever did. There was like this 400, 500-pound cylindrical, I think it was like a giant PVC type thing. And you had a team of 4, and you just carry it for an hour. Whole hour. So like with your team of 4, they'd be like, okay, carry your pipe down. And we had this huge 80-yard indoor field, the Allison Indoor. And literally if you put it down, like go home, come back tomorrow, you got to try again. It's like, what?
That sounds awful.
It was horrible.
I don't think I've ever had to do something like that.
It was horrible, but it was one of the best things I could have ever done. Like literally struggle to the point of like damn near crying. I remember just like looking around at the guys like, are you about to cry? Like, I'm really about to cry. Like, this is crazy, dude. But crazy story. So, you know Josh Gordon?
Yeah.
The Josh Gordon. The Josh Gordon. He went to Baylor first. The most athletically gifted human I've ever seen in my entire life. I remember standing next to Lucas Allison. He was one of my buddies that freshman year. And Josh Gordon, this guy kind of comes out of nowhere. Josh Gordon is doing a drill, and it's a really simple drill. Running with the defender on your hip, and you got to like make the play.
Yeah.
Okay? Like 15 yards, just jump in, catch the ball. Not really like going full go either. Josh does this like 360 reach around, catches the ball, spins, lands, and it was one of those. It looked so nonchalant. We were just like, did you guys see that? It was so weird. It was it was like a gazelle. You ever seen a gazelle like jump over a road? Mm-hmm. That's like the first thing I thought of. I'm like, this is crazy. This guy's, and he was so quiet, didn't say a word. He didn't really have any friends. He had one friend, it was Willie Jefferson, and they ended up smoking a bunch of weed and fell asleep at a Taco Bell, and that's why he got kicked out of Baylor. But so Josh had to do his agoge training. And this is like, I remember he came later. He somehow got in later. And we're doing agoge. And that day was a percentage of your body weight on the bar. And I had a partner. So let's say me and you are partners. So I'm squatting. I have a percentage of my body weight on the bar. You have a percentage of body weight on your bar. I squat, you squat. I squat, you squat. I squat. Just over and over and over again until someone quit. It was basically like a head-to-head match. And I got Josh Gordon. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, damn, do I got to go against this freak? You know? Because I had already seen him, like, whatever.
Yeah.
He started crying almost immediately. Josh Gordon, like, bawling. And the strength coaches were just taking the bar. Get out of the bar. Come on, you pussy. Like, seriously, screaming at him. And I'm standing there. My arms are asleep. I'm just like, because I can't move until my partner goes. That was part of the drill. But I just remember thinking, like, God, you little bitch. And then he turns out to be this crazy athlete, dude. Yeah. Like, imagine if he didn't touch weed.
Yeah.
He would be like a Terrell Owen. Yeah. He would be just crazy athlete. So genetically gifted. But that's like my Josh Gordon story. I just remember looking back at him, and I'm like staring him in the eyes, and he's just crying.
Yeah, it's crazy, too, like with how some people just like super genetically gifted, like, do whatever they can eat whatever, do whatever, and they're just like
I hated those guys, dude.
I'm like eating everything I can. Yeah. It'd be like clean. I'm like, I still don't feel like I look anywhere near how that guy looks.
I know. There's so much genetics involved.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the guys would show up with like freaking Chick-fil-A. That's when Chick-fil-A, my first year in college, was like Chick-fil-A was blowing up, and these guys would come with Chick-fil-A nuggets, and I would literally like borrow someone's kitchen to make like green beans, chicken, and whatever, and rice. And I'd be sitting here, and I watch this guy walking with Chick-fil-A, just diced, just 6-pack, veins popping out, runs a 4.3. I'm just like, this is stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I'm surprised you didn't have. Well, I guess that stuff started to die down because they got so sensitive about.
Yeah, we never had like. I mean, we had tough workouts, but never anything like crazy like that.
Yeah, they were literally made to just.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like how the conditioning test felt for me. Just made for me not to pass it. And I had like 2 kids next to me that forgot water that day, so they were drinking all my water, so I'm like, got no water going into this.
I feel like you're so quiet too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna do what I can.
All right, so first year at Eastern, you guys sit out.
No,
Oh, you didn't have to
It
sit
passed,
out. You,
yeah.
you passed. You got like, oh, that's the waiver you were talking
Yep.
about.
And what was crazy about my first year is not many people know this. So I got there in the summer. I got mono, like literally like right when camp started. So like when you have mono, they make you miss 30 days. You can't be at the facility or anything. So like by the time I was out of mono,
Well, so contagious.
yeah, so contagious. So it was week 2, and then that week I started for being out for a month. So it was kind of crazy how that worked out. It was my first college start ever. Right after mono, I ended up spraining my ankle that game, and I was like, I remember literally it happening, and like in my head, I'm like,
No.
I can't go out. I'm like, I had 2 years for this like spot to happen or this like chance. I'm like, I have to play. So I just kind of like literally fought through it. Like I couldn't even put pressure on my foot the whole game.
And you were running back.
Yeah, so it's not easy to play with a sprained ankle as a running back because every time you hit someone, make a cut, like you just feel
Did
like.
you pump some ibuprofen or something? Do you tell them?
I told them.
Usually they'll like tape you over your shoe.
Yeah, they would tape me over my shoe. It doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Like protects it from like rolling more, but the pain's still pretty bad. So
Right. So that's your. So what year is this?
that would be my
Academically,
third year.
this
so
is your third year.
redshirt sophomore.
Okay, and then how did the rest of that year go? Did you start the rest of the year?
So I had to miss like 2 weeks after that.
Because of the ankle?
It was so bad. Like it ended up being like really bad where like I was just like, all right, I can't play on this. I can't even put pressure. Ended up coming back like the last 2 games and it went pretty well. I was like the backup, so nothing.
Subbing
Crazy.
in.
Yeah, so I would just sub in third downs, which it worked out for me. I was like, I'll just do whatever I can. Like, and my mindset even going to Eastern was like, I don't even care if I'm every down back. I just want to be on the field, help out however. So like the injury had happened and then it kind of just worked out. I just took over as like the third down back. Me and my buddy Darius. So
Darius, let me guess, he's black.
yes.
Well, you're part of a small population. You're one of the white running backs.
Yeah.
Was everyone else black there?
Yeah, besides my buddy Mike, he didn't play much, but like he was a good friend of mine. But yeah, it's usually black position.
Yeah,
Usually,
for sure. So that's redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior. Are you starting it?
So I truthfully like, didn't start till like my last year. So that next year we brought in another guy. His name was Jawan. He was really good dude. He probably should have been the starter. He wasn't starting, but it was me, Jawan, and Darius kind of
Rotating.
I was a third down back still, so I still got a lot of reps, but I never started one game that year. So that would have been my 4th year. Didn't start a single game.
But you played pretty well.
Yeah, I played pretty well. I was really good at like goal line stuff, so like they just kept putting me in. I had like a ton of touchdowns. It kind of just came from high school. I just didn't like to be tackled. Just ran hard. Mm-hmm. And then my 5th year is when I actually started for the first time. Like since I guess my first year at Eastern.
So going through all these, because I mean, like we had said, you started training at TNT, and you told me about all these injuries and stuff, and I kind of broke you down, and I basically told you move like crap. Mm-hmm. And you agree with that at this point, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we can get into it a little bit later. But throughout this time at Eastern, are you dealing with these injuries, these nagging, this ankle, this feet, this knee? Because I think the biggest thing that you had to deal with was the knee pain.
Yeah, so early on, honestly, the weird thing is I never had knee pain ever until like my 5th year.
Until this last year.
Yeah, and this whole last year was just brutal. But up until then, it's usually just ankle pain, sprained ankles. I mean, it's pretty common in running backs. Just
What about feet? Didn't you say your feet hurt too?
So my freshman year, I had a stretch fracture in my foot. And that was just, I think, from like weird cleats I was wearing, trying to do track.
Well, so if you look back at, now I got you on those barefoot shoes now. When you look back, like if you pick your cleats up, they are the most narrow shoes.
Oh, yeah. It's like not even close.
When I put my cleats on now, because I'll play men's softball or whatever, and I've kept my last pair of cleats, it's like my toes are just like stuck together. My feet can't move at all. It's so freaking tight. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is exactly why I had plantar fasciitis. This is exactly why, like, I would get shin splints.
Yeah. And it was kind of like just like the injuries going back on that. Like all those tackles just kind of accumulated. And I think just ground up is kind of what they say. Like once I had the ankle injury, it just kind of led to my knee, hip, and then I was just in a lot of pain from there.
as you get older too, it just multiplies.
Yeah.
Like you're in high school, you're bulletproof. Mm-hmm. Like I remember benching freaking 12 sets of bench, and I would be sore. But the next day, if I wanted to bench again, you totally could. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine doing like 10 sets of bench and then doing it again tomorrow?
That's probably like chest tear, pec tear.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But I remember in high school, like you're just bulletproof.
Yeah.
And that mindset carries on unless someone tells you what the hell's going on. And we had no one. We didn't have. I know you had Davis Speed Center. We had nothing. No one. It was like a coach and the BFS program.
Yeah.
So, and it was also a complete joke in our weight room. I remember being like the only one who really wanted to take the weight room seriously, and I would get made fun of. Literally just get made fun of. I'm like, what do you get? Like, this is so weird. Why am I getting, I want to lift heavy and hard. Why are you guys making fun of me?
Yeah.
I would like go in there after practice. Be like, oh, Steve's in the weight room. It's like, yeah, I am. Is that a bad thing? Like, it was so confusing to me. So confusing to me.
I think was like good too is like just the different styles of training, probably from even when you started training, like in high school to now.
There was no style.
Yes, like now, like we're figuring out like all these little things you can do to prevent injuries, help injuries. Like a lot of those things I never did. And like, we talked about that. Like a lot of my injuries probably could have been prevented if I would have known.
They would have
half the things that I know now, whether it's like foot exercises, shin exercises, hamstring, all these exercises, like they would have helped me out so much. But I just, at the time, I didn't really know about them. And until I got the injuries, then I started doing research, and then I started finding them. Then I found you, and then just finally found the stuff that would have helped.
We were so far behind at the time. So I remember going into Texas, big Texas boy football, and we were doing hang cleans. And I would do this weird hang clean where I would like bend my arms and I would bring my hips through. My arms were bent like the whole time. I was still able to like hang clean a pretty good amount. Mm-hmm. I think that's why no one ever corrected me at all. And I remember my best friend at the time, he like leans in. He's like, what the hell is that? And I was like, that's my hang clean, dude. He's like, start from scratch, start over. And he had been training with like this elite trainer like from Texas. And like, I was like, that sounds like shit. Texas football that's the
real deal.
Is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different. But I remember the strength coach, he changed everything on me. He changed my hang clean. He changed my bench. My bench went to shit, and then it skyrocketed. My hang clean went to shit, and then skyrocketed. And I just remember thinking, like, man, it would have been really nice to have this, like, freshman year of high school.
Mm-hmm. I think, like, I had a pretty good knowledge of, like, most exercises, but, like, the only thing I felt, like, short of is just kind of knowing, like, those auxiliary lifts, like those little lifts that could really help. And I mean, going off just like high or college, like you do all these workouts, but they're meant for huge groups of people. So it's hard to just really hone in on one person. And I think that's what kind of didn't work for me is once I got injured, the lifts that worked for everyone didn't work for me anymore. So that was kind of like the thing that I ran into the biggest.
Yeah. So let's segue into that. So now, we had started chatting. And you found TNT again. You found your way into the gym finally. I can't remember exactly how. I think I was talking to your brother, and then he was just like, "Yeah, Samson's trying to go, one more time." And I was like, "Let's go," And it was just like naturally happened. And for anyone listening, he's got another pro day, and we are working our asses off to make this one last chance happen. So, talk about, I changed everything you do. I think every single lift you do, we've changed.
Yeah.
Talk about how that's helped you, and maybe specifically some of the biggest changes that you've made that were like, whoa, like this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like going back on like, just the injuries, starting from there, like ton of ankle injuries, which just leads to compensation. So I was always just standing different, just to like compensate for where I was feeling pain at, and it kind of just grew to like I would.
You'd be toes out.
Yeah, toes out, just because that's the only comfortable position I could find. And now just working on just like the different positioning, where I'm striking the ground, how I'm striking the ground. It's all just helped out so much. And even like the shoes, that's like something so like small you don't think about. And even I didn't think about it because I literally just bought Hoka's like probably couple months before.
Well, Hoka's are really popular, man. And everyone that's wearing Hoka's, they're like, you gotta get Hoka's. It's like a CrossFit cult.
And like in my head, I was like, a lot of cushion.
I got the best shoes.
Knees.
Yeah,
that's great for my knees. The cushion.
That's the worst thing you can do.
It is. It literally because like it just no stability. So like I would just like
oh yeah,
feel
like
it even
like
more.
if you stand in a hoka,
Yeah.
you can like rock your feet
Exactly.
back and forth, and there's just no your foot doesn't. It can't stabilize you because it's so soft. It's like trying to balance on like a Bosu ball.
Exactly.
It's like constantly just air under you.
Yeah. So I think that like the barefoot shoes, in my opinion, have been just so much better. Just as we said, like toes wise, being spread out, just connecting to the ground more, but also just like not being on that little pad all the time, just being on the ground is really helping just strengthen my feet back up. Just because when my feet are pointed outwards, you're just not using the right muscles all the time. So like the first day we talked about it, after using the shoes, my whole foot was sore. One more than the other, but that's probably because that was like the foot.
Well, that was
always
your bad
Yeah,
foot.
so I've definitely enjoyed them a lot. Just thinking about the different ways, just walking. I've been consciously trying to figure out just not point out, just straight.
It's funny. I should have said something to you when we were doing the video before this, but I like walked in and I remember thinking like, oh, I'm gonna check his feet, and I looked down, and your feet were perfect. Versus when we first started talking, bro, you were literally talking to me like
So I'm
your
telling
feet
you,
were
like,
out at 45.
I have like a conscious effort. I might not always be straight, but like I'm always like trying to think about like I'll catch myself all the time and try to make
so
sure.
when
that
you
I'm-
close your toes now, do you feel it in your hips anymore? Because remember
I
when
I don't feel it in my hips, no.
but when we first did it, you're like, oh yeah, I kind
the
of
hips
feel
were
that.
sore,
Yeah.
But
That's
now
kinda
it's
crazy.
starting to get more natural. I think with time it'll be even better.
Yeah, the biggest thing with you was definitely that E version. You just standing, everything was toes out.
Yeah, I mean even like running now,
Oh,
it
you
just
look so good.
feels
You look so
better.
good running now.
I guess I don't
You
know,
look
like
so good.
just less pressure on my knees because my feet are actually fully hitting the ground now.
Yeah, so your senior year, I wanted to bring this up. Your senior year, you had crazy knee pain.
Crazy. So it honestly started the year before my senior year. So we were playing Akron. I'm running for a touchdown. This kid, his name's Bubba. I got nothing against him, but I have some like just I'm salty a little bit because he didn't need to run me down. I scored the touchdown. He hit me late out of bounds, and he landed weird. So I sprained my MCL at the time. Had no idea how bad it was. Went into the locker room at halftime. Oh, that's grade 1. You're good. You can keep playing. Just put a brace on it. So I'm like, all right. The trainers, the doctors, they know what they're saying. I later found out that they might have not known what they were saying. So I played the rest of the season on that. And there would be times where I would get hit and felt like my knee just like exploded. And I'd be like, what the hell? Like, it's just my MCL. That's normal.
My
I'm
God.
like, I couldn't even like do a hamstring curl. I'm like, is that not like one of like the return to play? Like, should I be able to do a hamstring curl to play football? So I couldn't do a hamstring curl. And then
But they were letting you play.
Yeah, I was playing. Literally,
And they knew you could not do a hamstring curl.
Yeah, I didn't miss a game.
Dude, that is
It was also one of those things too, though. Was like, as you know, playing football, you're like, this is like my chance to get out. Like I was having a pretty good season up to that point, so I'm like, this is my chance. Like if I do well, I can make a name for myself and go get out of here. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing decently well, but what happened was, bowl game happens. We have like a 2-week break between our last game and a bowl game, and I'm like, I'm gonna get healthy. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna stay off my legs.
Made it worse.
Made it way worse. And that's when I started to develop like chronic pain in my tendons. I didn't know what it was.
Knees.
Yeah, both knees. I didn't know what it was at the time. It just felt like a little tugging. I was like, that don't feel right. Didn't really say anything because I was like, it's MCL. I'm sure that's normal. Having a little tugging on my tendons.
They normalized it for you, so they already said it in your head like, it's just grade 1. They told me it's grade 1. I'm good.
Grade 1. So I'm like, I'm trusting them.
So like I'm just gonna ignore this pain because I'm not. I ain't no bitch.
So it's like, and I would say like
I ain't no bitch.
over the years playing at Prairie Ridge, like I would say I'm a pretty tough kid because I've just always fought through injuries. But so leading to that game, I remember I took a cut. We were playing in Boise, Idaho, the coldest game of the year. I cut, and I just feel my leg just like pop. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? I'm like patting my head. I'm like, coach, take me out.
Did you limp off?
Oh yeah, I limped off. And like literally what happened was that I was in so much pain. So Taylor Powell is our quarterback, great dude. He throws a pick in the red zone, like one of the last drives of the game. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can go out there. So I'm like crying. because I'm like, dude, why'd you throw that? I'm like, I just wanted to be done with the game. Like I literally can't go back out there. I ended up going back out there and playing and finishing the game, but like I was just like in so much pain, and that's kind of where it all started.
So were you? I mean, I probably would have done the same thing. I was gonna say, like, what were you thinking, like, when you were in that much pain? You were just like, I'm going out no matter what.
Well, I was
I'm going out on my shield.
Well, my thinking was like, worst case, like I got 6 weeks till I got to do anything else after this. Like, it shouldn't take that long to heal, right? That's what I thought. So then we get done with the game, and I'm at home. I literally am walking down the stairs. I slip, land on my leg. Like, I land straight-legged, locked out. And I started, like literally with so much pain, I started crying.
This is at home?
This is at home, like, first day back after, like, the plane ride home. And I'm like,
how'd that plane ride feel on those knees?
Awful. Like, they just, it was awful. Like having, like, a bent leg for that long.
Yeah.
It was, like, I was also salty, too. I'm like, can I have, like, one of the good seats? Like, so I can, like, spread out? Like, we just had a good game. You know my knees are hurting? But, yeah, I got home, slipped. My girlfriend's parents were there. So, like, they saw. But, like, it didn't look like a bad slip at all. Like, for anyone else, no pain. But for me, it was, like, the worst pain of my life. So I went upstairs, laid on the floor for, like, 30 minutes, and I was like, holy cow. Like,
something seriously
wrong.
Like,
I don't know what to do. I'm like, that should not hurt that bad. Like, I'm, like, crying on the floor. So then I'm like, I got to go get an MRI. So I get the MRI, and they just, like, grade 2 sprain right now, MCL. Probably grade 3 when you first had it. And I'm like, well, that's a lot different than what I was told. But then, like, they never looked at my tendons or anything because from that point on, all we knew about was my MCL. So
did you tell them about your knee pain?
Yeah, so they just thought, like, where the MCL, like, works, it kind of, like, works around the front of the knee and into the hamstring. So they just figured it was just something with the MCL, just since there was pain in the MCL, it was just part of it.
But now you clearly described you could not do a hamstring curl, and this pain was crazy.
Yeah, crazy pain. And like,
so
what happened after that was they would like keep me out of things and try to put me back in, keep me out, try to put me back in, but like it just never worked. I'm like, I literally don't know what to do.
Like we had said, you know, the smartest thing you could have done was not do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I technically did do nothing, but then I would try to do stuff, and then
it would just re-aggravate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like doing absolutely nothing would have been the best thing. Like not even trying to come back.
But that's
and
the
play.
hardest thing to say.
It is
on a freaking football team,
especially as a guy like a senior and like.
And it's your last year.
I've been playing with these guys for 4 years. I'm like,
your goal your entire life has been to make it to the next level. Mm-hmm. This is your only shot.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I know, if you go on that injured list, no one's gonna pay attention to you.
Yeah. And that was like the hard thing too was like I didn't plan on going back that last year. But I knew in my head I was like, this thing's not healing. Like I literally have to go back. Like just to heal. Like even if I don't play. And then so spring ball happens, I get through 3 weeks or throughout 3 weeks, 3 practices. I'm probably going 2 to 5 periods, which is like 10, 20 minutes of practice. And I'm probably going barely any reps in those periods. We get to practice like 4, 5, and then it's like the spring game or whatever, like first spring scrimmage of the cycle. I'm doing like warm-ups, and I'm like, Coach, I literally can't even cut. I'm like, I have to be done. It's like literally in warm-ups, I'm like, I'm done. Like I literally can't. Like I can't even move. So then from then on, I was just like talking to doctors. They're always talking about these different things I could try, surgery, shots.
Did you get the shots?
I got the shots.
Which ones?
So I got PRP, the most painful shots of my life. And it was like 2 in each leg. So like I literally, when you get a PRP shot and you're like your tendon, it just kind of inflames the area to like peak injury. And I couldn't walk. I could barely like go to the bathroom because you can't bend it at all. So like it was almost like, it was pretty much unbearable pain.
Poop standing?
Well, I had to go, like they had like the handicap stalls at the facility. So huge stalls. So I was good in there. But at home, it was like practically like impossible. It was easier at home though because like no one was there, so like I was like whatever. But like I had to be in like a handicap stall.
So you play the whole season with this pain, the entire season, and they're basically just like, all right, Samson, you go in when you can.
Yep. So going like
that's crazy that they were like that because I don't think I know a single coach in my career that would be like, Yeah, just go when you can. No practice. Because you stopped practicing too, right?
So that was like the cool thing. Then that's kind of like the reason why I kept playing, is like how cool the coaches were, because they understood. Like they knew me from like the years I've been playing. They're like, this kid's clearly like something's wrong, but like we know you want to play. Like if you can play, play. So that's kind of like how it started. And like fall camp, couldn't really do much. I tried to practice once in a while, couldn't practice.
Damn.
Season came around. I dressed every day. That's like one thing I told the coaches. I'm like, I'll dress every single day. Because like it's my last year. I couldn't like practice every day, but I would dress.
What was like, how were the players reacting to this? They all just feel bad for you?
The players were awesome. I mean, they felt bad, obviously. Like they knew that like I wanted to be out there giving my all. Because like I literally went from a starter, and I told the coach, I'm like, my buddy Jalen was the other running back. I'm like, start Jalen. I'm like, I know that I can't be the guy that you want me to be right now, but like, I'll play third downs. I'll play short yardage. Like if Jalen needs a breather, I'll go in, but just start him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the players were really cool. They knew I was fighting, because like going back on that in fall camp, we had like, what's your hardest thing you've ever been through? Everyone's saying their thing, and my thing was this injury that I've had. I literally went in front of the team, pretty much like cried in front of them. I was like, I don't know if I could play. Even like talking about it right now gets me emotional, just because that's like how much it meant to me at the time, like playing for those guys, but also just like how much pain I was in. I was like, I don't think I can keep playing. And honestly, I don't know. Like I'm still like deciding if I want to play. So it's just like one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through.
And you did it.
Yeah. I mean, that was like one thing I can always say. Like it was so hard for me to get in front of those guys and just tell them like, look, like I don't know if I can do this. Like I don't know how my knee pain's this bad. I don't know where it came from, why it's still here. But I think after that, that's when like a lot of the guys were like, I'm sure there's guys in there tearing up too, because just seeing what I was going through. I know other guys fight through injuries too, but for me, that was just a tough one. Definitely a tough one.
Well, it's really unique too, because like you're still able to do stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like this like ghost thing that you're trying to describe.
You can't even see it. Like there's nothing like, you can't see like an incision mark on me or like any bruising. So it's like,
it's just like
really
we got to take this guy's word for it, and,
exactly.
and that's really frustrating too, because it was always not. It's not nice, but when you have an injury and it's like, dude, yeah, my bursa sac exploded.
Exactly.
Look at the burst. It's exploded. Look at my elbow. Whereas like, yeah, my knees hurt.
Yeah,
okay, well let's do an MRI.
Exactly.
No, there's nothing. It's like, no, there's something. You know, like that's like not having the affirmation of being hurt.
Yeah, that was probably
I
one
could
of the
see
hardest
why
things.
that would suck.
And like mentally, it just like played a toll on me. I was like, can't see anything wrong with me. There's something wrong with me.
Well, then you start playing in your head. You're like, am I being a bitch? Like, am I making this up? You know, I'm sure that crosses your mind once or twice. And then you're like, no, dude, my knees, like I can't walk.
No, I know. I literally like going, like thinking about like those games. I'd probably last like a quarter or two before I was like, coach, like I can't go back in. Like my knees, like I literally don't think I can like hit someone and like drive. So that was tough. And like honestly, my routine after games was like straight to the ice tub. Didn't help, but like just at least numb some of the pain. I was like, I'll just go straight to the ice tub, sitting there for a while.
It didn't help.
No, literally nothing would help.
You'd feel better after.
No,
Really?
no. I like couldn't walk for like 2 days after.
Each game.
Yeah.
God.
It was like a brutal cycle. And like when I talk to people about it, I'm like, it was literally like living in a nightmare.
I was just about to say it's like a bad dream.
It is. It's like a nightmare for me. I was like, I don't know if you've ever had like a dream where like you're running, but like you can't run. I've had that dream so many times, and that's kind of how it felt like I was in. I was like, I know I can run, but I can't run. So it just felt like living in a nightmare for a long time.
Damn, I'm sorry you went through that, man.
No, it's all good, man. I mean,
I wish I
starting to
would've-
see the brighter side of it. So
Yeah, well,
it's hard to see at the moment, though. That's for sure.
the brighter side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't.
Oh, in the moment.
In the moment, you do not see it. You're just like locked in. You're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this.
Yeah, no, and to update everyone, I mean, we're working out, we're sprinting hard, we're squatting heavy, and we got no knee pain.
Nope.
No knee pain, no foot pain, no ankle pain. Your mobility's increased,
Yep.
I would say, at least 30-40%.
And that's like the crazy thing is
Watching you do your Saigon stretch, remember day
everything
one,
feels
you couldn't
better.
do it.
Yeah.
You would go to do a Saigon, and you would just tip back. And now you're like doing a Saigon like almost without your little grip thing.
Yeah. And like the crazy thing is, even when I was training for my pro day last year, literally after every workout, my knee would be like still inflamed, like in pain. This is like the first time like I can actually run and then lift, and then right now, no pain. And like we had a pretty good jumping and a high impact day, and
It was a high impact day.
for me, like this time last year, like that's what's like encouraging now is like me, like this time last year, like I had to like lay down, ice it. I literally ice it after every time I worked out.
No icing.
No,
Dude.
I know it's encouraging. No ibuprofen, no icing. I've been like just natural.
Just training like a stud.
Yeah, about like the old days.
I'm really freaking happy that we found each other and I can, be a part of this with you.
Appreciate you.
The return to play. I want to talk about that really quick and then we'll wrap it up. But what was the return to play at Eastern? What was the test? So, and for anyone wondering what the hell that means, it means when you have an injury, there's a test or a series of tests or movements that you have to do to get back on the field. What was yours?
So when I had my tendon issues, the doctor, I won't say his name, but his return to play was a reverse lunge, and not with weight, literally just body weight. And for a lot of people, that might sound like the literal easiest thing you could possibly do. For me, it was the most painful movement I could ever imagine. Like that amount of stress on my knee was crazy. And when we had the return to play, I literally couldn't do it. Like I did it, but the pain was probably a 7 out of 10, which if you know anything, if you're doing a body weight movement and it's 7 out of 10, there's something seriously wrong with you.
Seriously wrong.
Yeah, so wasn't the best moment. I mean, there's a lot of people. So
just to be able to do it, if you can do it, you can go play.
I don't know the answer to that because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be you could do it, but there should be very low pain. But that wasn't the case. There was a lot of pain.
He knew this.
Yeah, they knew there was a lot of pain.
Why do you think you were cleared then?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't. And a
You
lot
have
of
no speculation.
they really wanted me on the field. That's for sure. They really wanted me on the field. They thought we would win more if I was on the field. And honestly, the thing is too is I've heard a lot of other players similar experiences. It might not be for the exact same injury, but similar injuries were they might have not felt like they were cleared to go, and they still would go because the doctor gave them that confidence or that go ahead, which is not encouraging.
Well, it's funny what that would do to a young kid too.
Yeah.
If a doctor's like, "Oh, you're clear to play," it's almost kind of wipes half of your pain away.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of bury it a little deeper.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, I mean, I thought I was really hurt, but the doctor said I'm cleared to play, so I must be okay,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's in my head.
It was always one of those things where the doctor, he never had a good answer for me. He was like, honestly, I don't know. It could take months, days, weeks, years. I'm like, well, that's not helpful at all. I'm like, when is this going to happen? He's like, surgery might help. I'm like, dude.
Surgery of what, though?
It was, he's thinking fat pad. But then I would see another doctor there's no fat pad. You're fine. I'm like,
what is going on?
I don't know what. I literally had no idea who to trust.
It's a good thing they you didn't let them cut you open.
No, I know. That's the one thing. I was like, I don't really want to get cut open. So then I saw a doctor at home, and he was like, nah, don't cut open. He's like, it might take a while. Just rub some cream on it every once in a while. And then at some point it should
So
get
his
better.
answer was kind of rest.
Yeah, just rest. Just, your body. You don't need to get surgery on it.
That's pretty crazy, though. I wanted to point that out. And I don't mean to, single anyone out because I think it's actually a rampant issue everywhere.
Oh, 100%.
Just throw them on the field. Get them on the field. And I feel like the doctors that are associated with the teams, they got the pressure of the coaches and the organization behind them.
Yep.
Hey, we're not here to play around. This kid's got a scholarship. I want him back on the freaking field. He's got to start paying his dues, I guarantee that pressure is there.
Oh, the pressure is definitely there. And I mean, I'll say this, one of the most impactful moments that I had was honestly the trainer came up to me and he was like, I won't say his name, but we have a pretty good relationship since I was up there so much.
Yeah, you're just living in the training room.
He literally came up to me, he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I feel like I failed you. He's like, I don't want you to be in this pain. You shouldn't be in this pain. And I just feel like I let you
That's
down.
really
It's
nice of him.
yeah, it was. And honestly, I was on the sidelines. I'm about to cry. I'm like, thanks. I'm like, I just wanted someone say something about it, own up to it. I can only do so much. I'm not the doctor. I just trust what they say, and I just do what you guys tell me to do because I want to play on the field and be healthy. So that was probably one of the most impactful moments. And I know they all care. Like all the trainers there care.
But that was a little extra.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Well, and I can imagine too, like, it's like we're talking about like this ghost. It's like a ghost in your knees. You have no idea what the shit is going on. And you're just trying to play. And what's crazy is you still produced.
No, I know. That's what was
you
wild.
still produced.
Still
you got this.
averaging,
You could barely reverse lunge, and you're scoring touchdowns, going in the third downs, producing for the team.
Yeah, I probably I was kind of fat that last year because I couldn't lift at all. Like if you talk to my trainers, like my strength coaches, like I was probably squatting maybe 185, and that was like with a lot of pain. It's like I just wouldn't touch weights besides like upper body stuff, and I still averaged like 4.5 a carry. It was literally the exact same that I did the year before, but just I was just like I just couldn't handle as much carries. Does that make sense? Like I could still do it, but I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Wow. In my opinion, your scouting profile goes up.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Knowing that.
Exactly.
But I understand also, like, this is a guy with injuries. So that's what everyone sees.
Exactly. Especially at a running back position, like.
You have to be 100% healthy.
Exactly.
You can't have any issues. You have any issues, you're a liability.
Yeah.
I remember we had a former teammate. I know he was did his job well, and they did a MRI on him because he had former knee issues, and they're like, "Oh, your ACL kind of looks like it might go. We can't take you." I was like, "Wow,
it's crazy." And honestly, I'm like almost interested to, if I get to that point again, for them to take that MRI.
Yeah.
Just to see what is going on in my legs, because I'm sure there's other things I probably don't know about, whether that's the hip or the ankle. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like going back on that video from that Cary game, when I got to Iowa, I had to get ankle surgery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I played on that ankle for so long that like my bone just like overgrew in the joint.
So you just shave it down?
Yeah, so I literally couldn't like bend or flex my ankle.
That makes what you're doing now even more impressive too. Like getting that mobility back.
So I think that's like another thing just kind of caught up to me.
Wow.
Bad mobility, and then just kind of worked its way up my leg.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, the fact that you produced is huge.
Yeah, honestly, I think...
I don't even know how I did it, Steve.
I don't know, because like I wasn't practicing like at all. Like, I just knew the plays from the previous year. It's like I was just going in. I'm like, all right, sure, put me in. I'll know what to do. So it was fun. I mean, fun in the sense that I got to play, but not fun in the sense that it was literally like a nightmare for me.
It would have to change your running style too, no?
It did, because like I was all
you
power.
Couldn't cut. You had to just go upfield.
Not even. I mean,
one cut go.
Yeah, I never really was like a big like trying to juke someone out. It was always one cut for me. But the hardest thing is I always like to run into someone. Now I'm like, nope, like, I don't want to run into you. Like that's gonna hurt my knee like crazy.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid it for a lot of contacts. And like I knew, like at a point in the game when I couldn't hit someone and keep running, I'm like, I can't go.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, when we near the end of the show, we always ask the guests what would be, let's say from the athlete perspective, what would be like the one piece of advice that you would give for the young athlete right now? Like, let's say like 7th, 8th grade Samson. What would you tell him?
I would tell him, honestly, like, you know your body better than anybody. Don't fight through something if you know there's something wrong. Like, you know your body better than anyone. I think from a young age, I've always just fought through injuries.
And which, really to a degree.
To a degree. I think there's like hurt and injuries. Like, you can be hurt and like fight through it a little bit. But when you're injured, like, you know, like, you can't keep going. And I think that's just, if I could have just separated those two and figured that out early on, and then going on that, just be on top of like the little things, like we were talking about, like the foot exercises, the ankle stuff. Like, you don't really think like that would help in the long run.
Yeah, these are your first foot exercises that we've ever done,
think
right?
like squats, bench is what's going to make you a great football player or a great sport player in anything.
Which it will help.
It will help. But those little things that you don't really think about, those are the things that make, honestly, the biggest difference, especially with injury prevention and just staying healthy.
Good, man. Well, like I said, dude, I'm really happy we finally come full circle. We're training together again. I was actually going to ask you, can I come with you to your pro day?
Yeah.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, maybe we can road trip it together.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Let's do it.
Anyways, Samson is...
I was going to ask you that too.
Actually?
Yeah.
dude, let's go, baby.
you wanna
I
go with-
ruined it
yeah.
then. I wish I would have waited for that. Anyways,
I'll have to
man.
get you a date.
Yeah. It'll be awesome. Well, cool. Thanks for coming on, man. Let's continue to blow this shit up and let's get in the NFL.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you.
Ha 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 ha!